Welcome back to the channel. Today we got our breakdown for UFC Fight Night Moicano versus Duncan. We're back in the Apex. Honestly, the Apex has been pretty nice this year. We got a lot of good fight nights. This one's decent. I think we're going to have some stinkers. We're going to have some just finishes, just straight mismatches. The name value and the scrap value isn't as good as the previous Apex. I think the last Apex was March 14th. Emmett Vallejos. That was an absolute banger. I think this one could be pretty good. We got some good prospects on here. I think the main event will be pretty good. I think it's being a little underrated. I know a lot of people are shitting on it, but I think it'll be a good scrap. Chris Duncan always comes a fight. Moicano's been in a lot of fun fights recently. So I think this will be a good one. And let's get straight into the predictions. Starting up, first fight of the night, Dakota Hope versus Kai Kamaka III. This was made like this week, I think Wednesday or some shit like that. I think it was made Wednesday. Let me pull up my notes real quick. So Kai Kamaka was in the UFC. I don't know if he didn't do too good. Dakota Hope is making his debut this weekend. He's pretty decent. I'm gonna pick him in this one. I think he's gonna go by decision. Not really a finish. Kai Kamaka's got some beautiful tattoos though. Those are some very nice tribal tattoos. Kai Kamaka, he's more of a decision guy. He doesn't have really good losses. He's not finishing fights on Tough Enough, which is a regional promotion. It's a decent promotion. I've watched it a few times. You know, decent, but he's not really getting a lot of finishes there. But he does have good kicks overall, which I think could give Dakota Hope some problems. But overall, Dakota Hope, he's got more knockout power. He's got more danger in his strikes and more damage. But he can go 3 rounds while wrestling and pressuring. So I think that's what's going to get it done. He's to be able to wrestle Kai Kamaka, pressure him, get in his face, and then big, powerful, damaging shots. And a lot of these lower level fights, you could say, I like to go with the guy who's going to really pressure, land bigger shots, has more damage in his strikes. I think that's a good recipe for picking a fight like this. And especially in this one, it does make sense. So I think he's getting a decision by way of just being more damaging in his strikes, being more aggressive. And I think he gets it probably decision. I'm going to go decision for this one. Next up, we have Dion Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. Dion Barbosa, her last fight was Karine Silva. Remember, she did get grappled and controlled in that fight, but her striking looked good. I remember I picked Karine Silva for that one, and I was a little worried. I thought she would maybe get the decision in that one. Because she was landing good strikes. She can be wrestled and controlled, but she has good stand-up. Her grappling overall is still pretty decent. Like I said, she does have nice stand-up. She'll be more damaging in this fight. Again, another lower level fight. The more damaging striker, Melissa Gatto. She got a boob punch TKO. She's been pretty inactive. She's kind of just meh everywhere. She's not great wrestling or grappling. And I think in this fight, like, she's going to get outstruck, outdamaged. I'm going to go Dion Barbosa by decision in this one. It is risky, of course. Always these unranked women's fights are always risky. We're going to get to another one in this one. And then even the ranked women's fight, Jandaroba versus Ricci. Again, another iffy one. It's like these fights are always up in the air. But I think it's going to be a decision for Dion Barbosa. I think she takes this one. And next up, we have Azamat Bakoa versus Tresean Gore. Both pretty stinky in the last fights. Tresean Gore, of course, his last fight was against Rodolfo Vieira, and he looked pretty bad. Like, he looked very tentative. Like, he was worried about the takedown, and then he got outstruck, which is going to be similar here. Azamat Bakoa can wrestle and will strike, but he's more dangerous than Rodolfo Vieira. Tresean Gore is getting outboxed by him for 3 rounds, and Rodolfo Vieira, a guy with all these BJJ credentials, is literally just not even going for takedowns and just striking with you because he's outstriking you pretty easily. He had low output, just hittable. Like, it was pretty bad from Tresean Gore in that performance, and he's not really too good anywhere. Azamat Bakoev, on the other hand, he's gonna have a similar type of thing where he can wrestle, but he can also strike. He's gonna be aggressive, powerful, better in that regard than Rodolfo Vieira, and Tresean Gore is also a little chinny. Azamat Bakoev in his last fight with Yuzuri Boguri, I mean, it's Yuzuri Boguri. Like, we've seen what he did to just Mansour Abdul Malik. Same exact game plan. Just he's training with Pereira, Glover. That's not a bad loss, honestly. He did get fucking shut out and just dominated, basically. But he was able to get some takedowns in. But again, Yusuf Burgori got back up. And Bakoev, I think he get another, like he did against Ryan Loder or whoever the first fight before that was. I think he get another knockout here early, like round 1, maybe round 2, if Tresean survives. But I see Bakoev being aggressive, powerful, and just maybe feinting, maybe going for a takedown early, getting Tresean Gore's head to stun him. Oh, maybe the grappling's coming, maybe the striking, I don't know, and getting a knockout. Probably round 1. I'll go round 1, like later round 1. Mid to late round 1, I'll go Bakoev TKO for this one. Next up, another iffy fight. Alice Pereira versus Haley Cowan. Like Haley Cowan's not good herself, but Alice Pereira did not look good at all in her last fight against Montserrat Rendon, who just got dominated by Bia Mesquita. You know, like the thing with Alice Pereira, she didn't look good anywhere. I remember from that fight is she was circling around, getting outstruck, didn't really engage. Like literally just circle. I remember it was just I think it was to the right. She just circled to the right the whole time. So it was like counterclockwise. Circling counterclockwise the whole time. Her striking wasn't great. It was kind of slow, honestly, and like kind of just like floppy. Like she did get tired as well, and she can get taken down. Especially as she gets tired, she's more hittable and can get taken down. Haley Cowan, she has had lots of injuries. She hasn't. I don't think she has a win in the UFC outside of Contender Series. She's not very good herself. She's older, but she does have more experience at this higher level. She's more proven there. And she also has decent wrestling and some decent top control. She doesn't do much with it, but she can at least control the fight there. And I think that's going to lend her the ability to go to decision and win this decision against Alice Pereira. This will not be a finish. I'll bet $1 million bajillion that this goes to a decision. Like I don't think either of these girls will finish it. Alice Pereira, I mean, she's 20 years old. She's obviously... It's difficult, especially anyone with 20 years old in the UFC, especially at women's, I feel like is just much less developed, you could say. Alice Pereira, like 20 years old, you should be young ho, you know what I mean? Like, UFC, like, she's not UFC level. Neither of them really are UFC level. And bantamweight is a terrible division for women. It sucks to say, but I'm going to go Haley Cowan by decision. This is gonna be stinky, bro. This card is gonna be stinky to start. I think this is gonna be a stinky fight, another stinky fight, knockout, and then a stinky fight, bro. I remember looking at this card a couple days like prior. I was like, bro, these prelims are gonna be very stinky. Another fight that's like, these prelims are gonna be very stinky. The main card is decent, but prelims are stinky. Darius Flowers looks different here than the pictures I've seen. Certain used, but I swear he just got cut by the UFC, or I mean, maybe just re-signed him for this fight. Lando Venata hasn't fought, I think, since 2023, and was lost to Daniel Zellhuber. Like, come on now, you know Daniel Zellhuber, but this fight, Darius Flowers is kind of like, he doesn't have great cardio. He's good early. He's dangerous early. But Lando Venata, he's decent in the striking. He does have some finishing potential on the feet and submission-wise. He's a little chinny, though, so Darius Flowers could get him out early. It's another iffy one. It's like, who... I think Lando Venata, it's an iffy one, but I'm going to go Lando Venata by late finish or decision. I think he'll get a sub, maybe a TKO here. Probably a sub or decision. Just winning the last 2 rounds. Darius Flowers probably wins the first one, but this is a stinky fight as well. I don't think this fight's going to be that good. It's an iffy one. There's a lot of iffy, like very 50-50 fights in this card, but there's also some lopsided ones that we'll get to in a second. Lando Venata, I mean, neither of these guys, each of them aren't very good. Just look at the records. 12-7-2, 12-8-1. Like, come on now. So, 60% win percentage for each, basically. A little less, actually. They have 21 total fights. It's like 58, whatever. 57. So, yeah, Lando Venata by a late finish or decision. Then we have Alessandro Costa versus Stuart Nickel. Alessandro Costa, his last fight versus Alden Correa was a bad look. But you got to look at it. Alan Correa is a very good fighter. He trains with Josh. He's Josh Van's training partner. He showed. I think he fought Luis Garua last in God damn it, mommy. Luis Garua last. I think it was a Mexico card, right? Where Brandon Moreno didn't do anything for 5 rounds. He has a decent overall skill set. You know, good grappling. Dangerous striking, which I think is going to get him the job done here. Good takedown defense. Like, if you look at the takedown defense, because Stuart Nickel is probably someone who's going to want to be grappled, but he's not great at it. 14% takedown accuracy versus 83% takedown defense. He's hittable as well. So I think Alessandro Costa is really able to control this fight for the first however long he wants until he gets a finish. He could get a TKO, could get a finish, but I think he gets a finish in the first 2 rounds here. I think he's going to be the better guy overall. He's gonna be like, look at the physiques as well. Like, you know, the stats show it. 14% accuracy versus 83% defense. Come on. And if we look at the strike accuracy, absorbs 6.69 strikes per minute. That's a pretty high number, if I'm not mistaken. The defense is 40. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit hard by Alessandro Costa, and I think he's gonna get finished in the first 2 rounds, like a club and sub or TKO, one of the two. I think he's gonna get knocked out here. Now, Guilherme Pat headlining the prelims versus Thomas Peterson. Thomas Peterson has a terrible build for a heavyweight, 6'1", with a small reach, like 5-inch height advantage, 7-inch reach advantage for Guilherme Pat, who isn't great himself, but physically he looks to be the guy who's in better shape. He didn't show great finishing instincts in his couple of fights. Doesn't have much grappling. He has a karate background, but he can be held up against the cage. Against Alan Fry Jr., I think it was his debut, he was held up against the cage by a guy who's not good. He looked really, like, the Alan Fry dude looked bad. Like, very just slow, hairy, like, just plotty. And Guilherme Pat did win that pretty convincingly. Like, he was able to outstrike him pretty easily, long, rangy striking, but was able to get held up against the fence. Whereas for Thomas Peterson, that may allow him to get some grappling in. He has decent wrestling. He has decent subs. Like, he's a more skilled guy on the ground here. But Guilherme Pat, I think that the height, the reach advantage, the striking advantage, I think he's able to get a decision here. Maybe a late finish. Thomas Peterson did slow down his last fight with Petrino, which wasn't a high-paced fight. But, you know, what are the grappling numbers? Oh, so I don't even think there's... Okay. So I don't think there's numbers for this guy. But... fuck. But I think Thomas Peterson, I don't know. I don't think Thomas Peterson's too good. He's at a big physicality disadvantage with the reach, with the height, with the shape. Like, if he won as well, but I think Guilherme Pat will get this done by a decision, late TKO or decision. I think he's more of a heavyweight, you know. Like, he can get grappled, but I'm not too confident in Thomas Peterson's grappling. He's also struggled with big counter strikers like this, like a Vito or Petrino. Guilherme Pat will do the same. So, and he's got chinned his last 2 fights, Peterson. I think it was the Blob, and then who the Blob is fighting Breno Pericic in Perth. That is a fucking, bro. That's gonna be rough for Shamil. They're already feeding him to somebody. We also get some good fights. We got Wallmate, like. We're also getting some good fights in, like, the Apex and stuff. Wallmaker and this guy Diaz from the Contender Series got a spinning back elbow. But whatever. We'll get to those. The Apex cards are looking pretty decent. Especially the May 16th one, because they kind of have to compete with that MVP card. But yeah, for the prelims, I got Guilherme Pat, decision, late TKO. Alessandro Costa, early finish, like round 1 or 2. Lando Vannata, late finish or decision. Haley Cowan, whatever, decision. Asman Bakoev, first round knockout. Dion Barbosa, decision. And Dakota Hope, decision. Now onto the main card, where it gets a lot better. We're not gonna have, I don't think any of these fights will be stinkers. Maybe this one, of course, but I think it'll be pretty good. So Jose Delano versus Robert Rucha. I'm actually excited for this fight. I think it's a good fight. Jose Delano, I actually was very high on him coming out of the Contender Series. He was one of the only people to get signed off of a decision. I mean, there was a shit ton of KOs, but I think that was one of the only people, one of the few to get signed by decision, because he did. have a really nice performance. He had really nice hands, boxing, good output, good cardio, decent takedown defense, but he can be taken down. Good jab, good body work. So he has all the capabilities to be a nice boxer. We saw Larry Douglas, pretty similar, nice jab, good boxing, a lot more power though. Like Jose Delano had a crazy amount of strikes, landed, but didn't really get any knockdowns or hurt his opponent bad. Larry Douglas does that, you're going out of it. If he lands 140 strikes on you, you're fucked. Robert Luchala, on the other hand, is a guy who likes to pressure. He has good control, good wrestling, which is probably what he's going to want to do here. But I think he is hittable. He is able to be countered because of him coming in, pressuring. So I think Jose Delano gets a decision here, piecing him up in the boxing, being able to counter him, working to the body, slowing him down through that, defending most of the takedowns. I don't think there's any numbers yet, or 60%, which isn't. But I think he'll be able to. Because Robert Luchala did get some control time over William Gomez, who is a good technical fighter. He's a bit of like a little slinky toy kind of type of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's very skinny, frail, like not too dangerous. But I think Jose Delano will be able to get up, will be able to defend most of the takedowns and then and win off a damage. Close decision, I think. Robert Luchala is pretty good himself. I forget what organization he comes from. It might be like a KSW or one of those like European organizations. But I think he gets this one done. Jose Delano by decision. I think it'll be a close fight though. I could see Luchala getting this one done. Next up we have Tommy McMillan versus Manolo Zucchini. Tommy McMillan, he's already pissing me off. I haven't seen much of him, but I've seen some comments from him and shit like that where he seems a bit of an arrogant motherfucker. And you know, he is Tommy McMillan. Yeah, I'm tough. I fucking broke my neck in Contender Series, got out of the sub. I have a Scarface and Juice WRLD tattoo. Like I look tough, yeah. I train with Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch. I just feel like he's gonna come in, like he's gonna be insufferable after this. He's probably gonna get a finish here. I think he's gonna get a finish because Manolo Zucchini has been out for a while. He's injury prone. He's not very good. Is mass striking. Tommy McMillan is a tougher guy here, the better grappler. He doesn't have much power, but I think the aggressiveness is gonna get it done here. But I think Tommy McMillan gets a finish. I'll say like round one finish, something like that. But Contender Series, he didn't look good. And he's going to be insufferable after this. He's going to probably win this, be 10-0 undefeated, finish in the UFC. Whatever he got in Contender Series, I forgot what it was. He's going to be, I trying to shout him out. Like, he's going to be so annoying, bro. Like, he's going to be on my hate watch list. He's going to be there with the guys like Bo Nickel pre-RDR fight. Even Bo Nickel now, I still want him to lose a little bit. Joe Pyfer before the last couple, before he gave his life to God, you could say, because he became a little less insufferable. He was on my hate list, but Tommy McMillan, he's gonna be there. I'm gonna be rooting on his downfall. I feel like he's gonna be fucking annoying, bro. I just feel like he's gonna be insufferable, and people are gonna be hyping him up because he's tough. Sean O'Malley got a finish here, and he's not that good. But I think he gets a fucking, I don't know. I don't like this guy already. He just, in his face, he has a very punchable face. And it goes well that he's fighting. I want to see him get bloodied up and beaten up. But whatever. Next, Ethan Ewing versus Rafael Estevan. This is an interesting fight as well. God damn, look at the head on that motherfucker, bro. Holy shit. But Rafael Estevan is moving up from flyweight. He still has good size though. He's a 5'8", nice enough reach. Like he's gonna be he's gonna be fine size wise. But the thing with him, he's a boring type of fighter. He likes to wrestle. Like he's jiu-jitsu tatted on the tit, like Tai Tuivasa. If you saw upper back tat jiu-jitsu, very fitting. He's a boring type of fighter. He slows down in third rounds. He keeps it pretty close because he's more of a control guy. Like he takes you down, controls you. He uses the clinch and the wrestling just control you up against a fence. Get dominant positions, whether it's side control, mount, in your guard, back takes, and he doesn't have great striking. So if he's on the feet, he's not gonna have a good time. He's gonna get pieced up, and Also, he's gonna slow down. If you're able to defend his takedowns, he can't just lay on you. He's gonna slow down a little bit. If you keep it on the feet, he has to pressure you. He's gonna slow down. And in the third, especially in the third round, that should be Ethan Ewing's round to win if he makes it there. Rafael Estevam, I think this is a setup for Ethan Ewing. It's just they kind of want to get Rafael Estevam out of here. They don't like these boring guys. I forgot what Rafael Estevam's last fight was, but I remember falling asleep basically. If that was his last fight or was one before that, whatever it was. But Ethan Ewing, on the other hand, not really getting mad in this fight, but we saw he had a pretty damn good chin. Took some good shots from Malcolm Womaker. Stepped up on 2 days' notice. Yes, he had a fight a week before, but stepping up on 2 days' notice on the biggest card of the year against a hot prospect. You can't game plan for, but you know what he's going to do a little bit. It's good. He has decent wrestling from what we saw. He has good boxing and good cardio. So, obviously, if he keeps on the feet, which I think he'll be able to do, we did see he showed some good wrestling against Malcolm Womaker. There's a couple sequences where it's showing, okay, all right. And I think where he trains out of the wrestling and grappling background. So if it's on the feet, he's going to piece up Rafael Estevam. I think he could keep it there. That's the thing with him. I think he could keep it there. And as the fight goes on, he's going to take over, especially the third round, like I said, because Estevam does slow down. So I think Ethan Ewing could get a late TKO or a decision win, 29-28. I think he'll probably get controlled for a bit. But I think outside of that, he'll be able to out damage and maybe finish Rafael Estevam in the later rounds. So that's my pick for this one. Ethan Ewing, late TKO or decision. Now we have Brenton Ribeiro versus Abdul Rahman Yakayev. Abdul Rahman Yakayev, I've been pretty high on him. Contender series, he got an early knockout, and then he got the fucking full bag of tricks knockout or submission actually versus Rafa Kakera in 30 seconds. Spinning wheel kick, head kick, takedown, back take, rear naked choke. It is Rafa Kakera, but Rafa Kakera is there to just be slaughtered. He's literally just like, here, finish me. Except for Julius Walker. Julius Walker did take him to a decision, which is why he got fucking finished by Dustin Jacoby. Did I pick Julius Walker to beat Dustin Jacoby? I might have did that. That was a big mistake on my part. I overrated him because I feel like he's a likable guy. Cute looking dude, you know. Not cute looking dude like that, but like, he's like, I don't know. I follow him on Instagram. He's a family man, you know. One of the lower level fighters. It's like, you know, family man, you know, just chill. Like you see more, they post more like a Kennedy and Nzechukwu. I like him too. It's kind of the same thing. Not cute. You know what I mean? Like I have a maternal, what is that? What they call it? They have a maternal instinct for them. Even though I'm not a woman or a mom, I would be a dad. Dad fraternal. I don't fucking know. But whatever. I have the same thing for Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, he's a big baby to me. But Abdul Rahman Yakayev got the best finish over Rafa Kakera. I think Rafa Kakera got golden Freddy by... I know he got golden Freddy by Ibo Aslan, which is a bad look. Because Ibo Aslan just comes forward and just beats the shit out of you. And then I think he got golden Freddy by Madetsi Bukowski, if I'm not mistaken, both in a minute. I feel bad for him. Because that's tough. Like, when you're one of those fighters that just comes in... Like, I was looking at that fight versus... Like, I saw the Abdul Rahman Yakayev KO over, or submission over Kakera, and I'm like, damn. He got head kicked, and he's like, the way Kakera looks, he's like, I'm like, damn. Like, how does it feel to just be knocked out twice, beaten once, and then decision once? That's like, fuck. But going on, whatever. Let me get back on topic. Abdul Rahman Yakayev, I think he's one of the better prospects in the light heavyweight division. We haven't seen much of him, obviously. He fought Rafa Kakera. Even Brenton Ribeiro, who's an aggressive guy. He comes forward. He's going to try to, like, come in your face. He got finished by Umar C, which is a bad look, of course. I think Abdul Rahman Yakayev is going to be able to get a finish here early because Brenton Ribeiro is a little chinny. Brenton Ribeiro is like a guy you get after, like, a couple wins in the UFC or one win. And then you get, like, someone like a decent step up. And I think this is what's going to happen here. He's going to get chinned probably first round. He's a little chinny. Like, very aggressive. Yakayev has good dynamic striking, as we've seen, and good grappling credentials. So, I think he's going to get it done here, but I think he's one of the more promising light heavyweight prospects. Next up, co-main event, we have Verna Jandiroba versus Tabata Rishi. Baby Shark. This is a fight where I'm split on it. A lot of people are split as well. That from what I've seen. Fernanda Jandiroba, her striking defense isn't great, if I'm not mistaken. Never mind. But she can't be pieced up. She's good at wrestling, grappling. That's what she wants to get into, of course. Control you. She has okay striking. Tabitha Ricci also has okay striking. Some pretty good takedown defense. If you look at the numbers, I'm pretty sure it'll show that 78%, which is decent, or pretty good. Not I will say decent. That's very good. She's good strength because she is moving down from flyweight. Obviously not this fight, but previously. She has nice clinch striking as we saw with Ribas, but just overall we've seen it. In this fight, it's a toss up for me. I don't really fucking know. It's gonna be a decision either way. 29-28, of course. It could go either way. See some people picking Richie, some people picking Verna Jandiroba. Verna is still pretty good, but she is getting old. She's 37, coming off a loss to Mackenzie Dern, who's pretty good herself. Like, you know, Tabitha Ricci. I don't know. I don't know. I think Verna Jandiroba is going to get this. I think she's going to be able to keep up in the striking, fine, and be able to implement her own wrestling and grappling a little bit better than Tabitha Ricci. Control her a little bit up against the fence in the clinch. I could switch this by tomorrow. Like, I don't fucking know. Just tune in my TikTok. I'm still flip-flopping back and forth. But I'm going to go Verna Jandiroba by decision for this one. Whatever. A very toss-up fight. And who cares that much? Now, main event, which I think would be a fun fight. Chris Duncan getting a rank shot versus Renato Moicano. I actually like how the lightweight division, they're kind of fucking getting these guys out of there. They're getting the Moicanos, the Gamrots, the Dariush. Who else? They're getting those guys out of there. I think that's it. The Killen Salkilid facing Benil Dariush. You have Chris Duncan facing Moicano. At number 7, you have Ribovic stepping up to face Gamrot next weekend. And I think all these guys could win. I'm least confident on Ribovic's. Now looking back at it, a war with Daniel Zellhuber is not the greatest. But I think Moicano versus Chris Duncan, I'm going to go Chris Duncan here. Because Moicano, obviously the loss to Islam is whatever. He's a little bit of like it's confusing. Because, you know, he had the fight with Jalen Turner where he did get dropped. But then rallied back. I know Jalen Turner was a little mentally fucked up there. And then had the fight with Benoit Saint Denis, where BSD got his ass beat in the first round, a 10-8, arguable 10-7 round, but then won the second round. And then Benil Dariush, obviously the Islam one is Islam, bro. Then Benil Dariush loses the first round to Moicano, and then wins the next 2. Chris Duncan has been able to lose and come back, and he's more durable than a lot of these guys, especially a Dariush. He gets in these firefights with a fucking Terrence McKinney, for instance. Yes, Manuel Torres hurt him, subbed him. I don't think Moicano will be able to hurt him on the feet. Like, Manuel Torres is a fucking... Even Terrence McKinney had Chris Duncan hurt. Yes, Terrence McKinney had a low IQ moment where he kind of just like... I don't know what he did. I don't remember that fight too clearly. But what I remember is I was watching. I was like, yo, what the fuck, Terrence? Because I picked Terrence McKinney. I'm like, you know, he's a really fast starter. Chris Duncan kind of starts a little slow. He does get pieced up early, hurt early. And I think Terrence McKinney will be able to finish him with that. Like, get a sub, hurt him, or just TKO him. And he almost did. But I don't know. He just kind of abandoned the defense and everything, which he doesn't usually have. But whatever. These guys are both durable, so I don't think it'll be like an early finish, of course, especially Moicano. He does seem to be declining. Like the last fight with Dariush, losing to Dariush is a pretty bad look. I know he did drop him, but he was getting like controlled and out grappled. Chris Duncan, on the other hand, he's fought much more dangerous guys, like I was saying. He likes to brawl, but he usually wins in those pocket exchanges where it's close. He's powerful himself, but he also has very good grappling pedigree. We've seen a lot of his fights. I think I was looking at like one of those TikToks where it's like Chris Duncan's record in the UFC. I think he's lost 2 fights maybe, 1 or 2 fights I think it was, and won like 6 to 8. So I was like, damn, I thought Chris Duncan had lost more. But, you know, I think I'll mix him up with Mason Jones. Like, in terms of, like, how their career went when I was thinking about that. But Chris Duncan's on a good streak. It looks like he's building himself. I know Moicano, you know, he got his money now after the Islam fight. Good for him. But I don't think it's going to be too easy. I think Chris Duncan will be able to just... Like I just said before, Moicano was better on early. Like we saw in his last couple fights. Dariush, he dropped Islam. And then BSD. But then these people are able to win the second round. So I think we could get first round, be competitive. Maybe Moicano wins. Second round, Duncan implements more. Third round, we maybe get a finish. I think second or third round, I could see Duncan hurting Moicano and subbing him or just TKOing him. Duncan builds in the fights pretty well. I think Duncan could just piece him up, win the pocket exchanges, be competitive in the grappling. Maybe he gets controlled on top and hurt like BSD, but I don't think so. I think Chris Duncan get a second or third round finish here over Moicano. I think it's time. I think it's his time to move up in the rankings. So I'm gonna go Chris Duncan here, round 2 or 3 finish, submission probably. So my main card picks: Duncan, like I said, round 2 or 3 finish, Jandiroba decision. Akiayev, round 1 TKO. Ethan Ewing, late TKO decision. McMillan, early finish. And Delano, decision. So, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my reaction. Do it after the fight, most likely. If anything, I'll do it in the morning, but probably right after the fight. It'll be quick. Probably like 15, 20 minutes. I probably won't be able to go too in-depth on this card and be like, oh, yeah, fucking, Gian Barboza, Alice Pereira. Oh. You know, so... And then also next week, I want to do at least one film breakdown. I want to do Yuri Oberg and maybe a Van Tyra. So we'll see. But yeah, that's it. See you in the